Can I get that? It's a great theme. It's about Jesus, so important. Really, really important.
I'm an atheist, so...
You're an atheist?
Yeah,
Come and convince me.
so convince you.
Convince me that you're an atheist.
Well, I just... there is not like any proof that there is God or there is no God. So...
I'm going to give you a simple question.
Yeah?
Did man discover that 2 + 2 = 4, or did he invent it?
I would say discover.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a wise answer. So where did the principle of mathematics come from?
Well, it was always there, just not discovered before, I guess.
Keep thinking about that one.
So it's like yet to discover.
Can mathematics come from a random universe?
That's a more complicated one.
Because that's what you're asserting, that mathematics has come by virtue of just total randomness.
Well, yeah.
I'll give you another question.
Yeah.
What are you worth?
I mean, what am I worth? I would say it's depending on the person. Like, if you're a good or bad person, I would say that's the worth of a person. Yeah.
How do you assess the value of a good or a bad person?
Well, you look at what they do and how they treat other people, and whether they help or not.
Well, where do those moral values come from?
Well, it just depends if you want to be a good person. That's what I believe.
What if I thought it was good to kick a dog?
That's wrong because it harms the animal, and it causes them.
So that wouldn't be good?
No, because it causes.
Another person might eat that dog.
That also wouldn't be good.
Right?
It's still suffering for the
You
dog.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
That morality, if left to human beings, is very subjective. You just decide what you think is right and wrong.
I guess.
And yet another person might think completely the opposite. So moral values have to be given to us by someone outside of our universe. And that's where we get God telling us the right and wrong. Otherwise, we just make it up as we go along, and society is getting increasingly in a mess. I speak to people on the street, they don't even know whether they're male or female. That can't be right, can it?
Well, I'm fine with that, personally. I don't mind that.
You don't mind that?
No, it doesn't hurt anyone, so I don't mind that.
It hurts the human race and it hurts God. He says there are two genders, male and female, and the purpose of that is to come together and procreate. It's so simple. The Bible says these things. Now let me take you back to worth. What are you worth? Where did you come from?
My parents,
Where did your parents come from?
their parents, and so on, so on.
And so on. And
Yeah.
where did they come from?
The ones, the organisms. And
Some sort of organism. And where did that organism come from? You see where this is going, don't you? We're going right back to something that the evolutionists say that there's some sort of slime mixture, soup, whatever you want to call it, was formed out of the atmosphere. And from that atmosphere we got some sort of tiny, minute creature that somehow had life, and that tiny, minute creature became something else, and that creature became something else, and then something else. Now, personally, I think you need a lot more faith to believe that than you do what I'm saying about Jesus.
Yeah.
So if I ask you the question now, what are you worth any more than that bit of slime that you came from?
Not really.
Not really. So the answer is, I'm not worth anything.
Well, in this case, no one really is.
As an atheist, you're not worth anything.
Yeah. Well,
Because you're
no
a
one.
cosmic accident, right? You're just an accident that happened as a random series of events.
Yeah, kind
And
of.
you and I are standing here in Wiswick Marketplace. It just doesn't make sense. What does make sense is God created you. He created me. He gave us the ability to procreate.
Yeah.
So we're combined in that creation process. Your parents, obviously your father's sperm fertilise your mother's egg, and you're a result of that union. And that is a blessed union, and you and I are made, and this is where I'm going to say the complete contrast to an atheist thinking, is that you and I are made in the image of God. The scriptures actually say that. So we have characteristics, if you like, and worth similar to God. That's how valuable you and I are. And he was so concerned for you and I that he sent his son, Jesus, to die for you and for me on the cross. Because we are not holy, we're sinners. I'm not going to take you through the obvious things because you know what you've done wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, we're sinners. But God doesn't want you to remain an unforgiven sinner. He wants to forgive you. And the only way that is possible to get right with God is through accepting that Jesus died on the cross for you. He actually died for you and for me. He took the punishment on that cross, a cruel, tortuous death, so that you can go free. He died, rose from the grave, and eventually, having appeared to over 500 people, he went and ascended and sits now at the right hand of God, waiting to come in judgment. Now he will judge and he will punish, but only those that haven't put their trust in him. So you and I, if we put our trust in Jesus, will be set free from the penalty of sin. I hope I've given you a few things to think about and that you can come to a belief in Jesus.
Yeah, that's one question. If there's many religions in the world, yeah, how do you actually know that your religion is the right one, if there's so many?
Okay, a simple answer is that the opposition to the Christian faith is the devil. The devil will create all sorts of distractions for you and for me, whether you call it Buddhism or Sikhism or Islam or any of the other so-called religions, Freemasonry, some of the cults like Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons. Okay, I don't know whether that means anything to you at all. But then we get people that, I had two today, say, oh, I'm a Satanist or I'm a pagan. And they are actually following the devil. So they're in the occult. So to answer your question, God, through the scriptures, through certain people in the past, he gave us the Bible. The Bible is our guidebook, if you like. Yeah. We can break it down. B-I-B-L-E, the spelling of the word Bible, is basic instructions before leaving Earth. All right, now that's just a little way of... Now that book is a biography of Jesus, of the Apostle John. He was a teenager when he first met Jesus, and he wrote that later in life. It's part of the Bible. I'd love you to read that in a period of time. Don't rush it. Just take it a little at a time.
Yeah.
Would you do that for me?
Yeah.
It's worth it, isn't it? That bit of investment.
Yeah, it might be interesting.
Yeah. And what you sort of want to say to yourself, if this is true, God, speak to me through this book. It sounds a bit weird, but that's what happens. If he's calling you, you'll feel something move from your head to your heart. Great to meet you. What's your name?
Yeah, Casper.
Okay, Casper. Great to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye. Well, are you folks? Have a